My phone buzzed during my stand-up meeting. It was a text from my cousin Tyler. Guess who's coming to Mom's birthday dinner Saturday? Michael Rodriguez. You know, the Michael Rodriguez. My new client. Try not to say anything embarrassing, okay? I stared at the message. Michael Rodriguez. The venture capitalist who just led my Series B funding round 3 weeks ago. The same Michael Rodriguez whose firm had written me a check for $15 million. Tyler didn't know. Of course he didn't know. Tyler worked at Sterling Media Group as an account executive. Good job. Solid salary. He'd landed Michael's real estate investment company as a client last month and hadn't stopped talking about it since. At Christmas, he'd cornered me for 20 minutes explaining how he was managing relationships with high-net-worth individuals now. I'd smiled and nodded while my aunt asked me if I was still doing that computer thing. That computer thing was DataStream Analytics. My company. The AI-powered data visualization platform that had just hit 10 million in ARR. The company that Michael Rodriguez had called the most promising B2B SaaS play I've seen in 5 years during our final pitch meeting. But my family didn't know that either. To them, I was Emma, 29 years old. Still single. Working on some tech startup that probably wouldn't go anywhere. Not like Tyler with his corporate job and his fiancée and his sensible life choices. I typed back, looking forward to it. My co-founder Jenna looked up from her laptop. Why are you smiling like that? Family dinner on Saturday, I said. It's going to be interesting. Interesting good or interesting bad? Yes. The thing about being underestimated your whole life is that you stop trying to correct people. When I was 16, Tyler told me my plan to major in computer science was ambitious for a girl. When I dropped out of my PhD program to start DataStream, he asked if I was sure I wanted to throw away my education. When I showed up to Thanksgiving last year and mentioned we'd just signed our first enterprise client, he'd patted my shoulder and said, "That's great, Em. Everyone's gotta start somewhere." He then spent an hour talking about his promotion to senior account executive. I didn't tell him that our first enterprise client was paying us more annually than his entire salary. I didn't tell him that I'd just hired our 20th employee. I didn't tell him anything. Because here's what I'd learned. People who underestimate you aren't looking for information. They're looking for confirmation of what they already believe. And Tyler believed that I was the younger cousin who'd always been a little too intense, a little too nerdy, a little too unmarried to be taken seriously. Let him believe it. Friday afternoon, I got another text from Tyler. Rodriguez confirmed for tomorrow. Mom's super excited. He's bringing his wife. Dress nice, okay? First impressions matter. I was literally wearing a hoodie at my desk, reviewing our Q2 projections with our CFO. We were on track to triple revenue by year end. I looked down at my hoodie. It was from a tech conference in Austin where I'd given a keynote speech to 400 people about scaling startup culture. I texted back, "Will do." That evening I called Michael. We'd exchanged numbers during due diligence. He'd said to reach out anytime. He probably meant about company stuff, but this felt important. "Emma," he answered on the second ring. "How's everything going?" "Really good. We just closed that partnership with Deloitte." I saw. "Congratulations. That's huge. Thanks. Hey, I have a weird question. Are you going to a birthday dinner in Westchester tomorrow? For a Carol Martinez?" There was a pause. "Yes, actually." "How did you know that?" "Carol's my aunt." "It's my mom's sister." "Tyler Martinez is my cousin." Another pause. Longer this time. "Tyler is your cousin?" "Yeah. The Tyler who's been calling me twice a week trying to upsell me on premium ad packages." "That's him." Michael laughed. It started as a chuckle and turned into full belly laugh. "Oh, this is golden. Does he know about DataStream?" "No." "Does he know I'm your lead investor?" "Nope." "Emma, I'm trying to be professional here, but this is the funniest thing I've heard all week. This dinner is going to be incredible." I wasn't going to say anything, I admitted. But he's been texting me about making a good impression and not embarrassing him, and I thought you should have a heads up that we're related. Do you want me to say something? Or play along? I thought about it. Tyler had introduced me to his fiancée last Christmas as my cousin who's doing a tech thing. He'd explained to her, in front of me, that not everyone's cut out for the corporate world. He'd ask me, at Easter, if I was making any money yet from my little project. Just be yourself, I said. I'll follow your lead. Saturday evening, I stood in front of my closet debating. I could wear the dress I'd worn to the Series B closing dinner. Valentino, navy blue, devastatingly professional. Or I could wear what I usually wore to family things, nice jeans and a blouse. I chose the jeans. My mom was already going to have questions if I showed up looking too different. The party was at my aunt's house in Scarsdale. Big colonial, perfectly manicured lawn, the kind of place that screamed we made it. My aunt and uncle had done well. He was a dentist. She was a school principal. They'd raised Tyler to value stability, prestige, conventional success. They'd never understood why I wanted to start a company instead of getting a real job. I parked on the street and walked up the driveway. Through the windows, I could see people gathering in the living room. I recognized my parents, my uncle, a few family friends, and there was Tyler, holding court in the center of the room, gesturing animatedly. I took a breath and walked in. Emma, my mom hugged me immediately. Oh honey, you look thin. Are you eating? Yes, Mom. I'm eating. How's the job going? Really well, actually. That's good. Tyler was just telling us about his client who's coming tonight. Very exciting. Tyler appeared at my elbow. He was wearing a suit. To his mom's birthday party. Hey, cuz. Glad you could make it. Listen, Michael Rodriguez is going to be here any minute. He's a big deal. Like, really big deal. Just let me do the talking when he arrives. Okay? Sure, Tyler. I'm serious, Em. This guy manages a $300 million fund. I don't want him thinking we're not professional. My aunt swooped in with a drink. Emma, sweetheart. How's your little computer business going? It's going well, Aunt Carol. Happy birthday. Thank you, dear. Tyler tells us you're still working on that. That's so nice that you're pursuing your passion. Not everyone needs to make money right away. I smiled. That's true. Tyler was checking his phone. He's 5 minutes out. Okay, everyone, Michael Rodriguez is almost here. Mom, you remember, he's the venture capitalist I told you about. This is a really big opportunity for me to strengthen our relationship. My uncle clapped him on the shoulder. We're proud of you, son. Landing a client like that at your age. The doorbell rang. Tyler literally straightened his tie. Okay, everyone act natural. But remember, this is important. He opened the door. Michael Rodriguez stood there with his wife, Nina. Michael was wearing jeans and a button-down shirt. Nina wore a casual dress. They looked like normal people coming to a birthday party, not the power couple who'd been featured in Forbes last month. Tyler, Michael said, shaking his hand. Thanks for the invitation. Mr. Rodriguez, thank you so much for coming. Please, come in. Everyone. This is Michael Rodriguez and his wife Nina. My aunt rushed forward. Welcome. We're so glad you could join us. Tyler's told us so much about you. Michael smiled graciously as Tyler guided them into the living room, introducing them to various family members like he was presenting royalty. My mom was practically vibrating with pride at having such an important guest. Then Michael's eyes found me. Emma, he said, his whole face lighting up. He crossed the room in 3 strides. It's so good to see you. Nina, come meet Emma Chen. He pulled me into a warm hug. A real one, not the awkward side hug you give to your cousin's friend you've just met. The room went quiet. Tyler was staring. You two know each other. Know each other? Michael stepped back but kept his hand on my shoulder. Emma's company is one of our best investments. We closed her Series B 3 weeks ago. My mother's wine glass paused halfway to her mouth. Series B. Tyler repeated. What's a Series B? Nina smiled. It's a second round of venture funding, typically for companies that are scaling rapidly. Emma's company is doing incredibly well. We're very excited about it. Michael turned to my aunt. Carol, you must be so proud. Your niece built something extraordinary. The technology her team developed is genuinely revolutionary. We've seen a lot of startups, but DataStream is special. My aunt looked at me like she'd never seen me before. Emma's startup? The computer thing. DataStream Analytics, Michael said. AI-powered data visualization for enterprises. They just signed partnerships with 3 Fortune 500 companies. The growth trajectory is remarkable. Tyler found his voice. Wait. Emma's company. Your firm invested in Emma's company. We led the round, Michael confirmed. 15 million. Could have easily gone higher. Emma negotiated hard. He grinned at me. She's a tough one. My dad set down his drink. $15 million? That's our investment, Michael said. DataStream's total valuation is considerably higher. Emma owns a significant equity stake. She's built something really special. Tyler was very pale. But you're my client. You invest in real estate through Sterling Media's platforms. That's our personal investment portfolio, Michael explained patiently. Rodriguez Ventures, my firm, invests in technology companies. We've been working with Emma since her seed round. I've been on her board for 18 months. You're on her board. Tyler's voice cracked slightly. Oh yes. I try never to miss a board meeting. Emma runs them incredibly well. Very efficient. Last month's strategic planning session was one of the best I've attended. Michael looked around the room. She didn't tell you any of this? Everyone was looking at me. I mentioned the startup, I said quietly. A few times. My mom was shaking her head slowly. You said you were working on a tech project. I am. DataStream is the tech project. With employees and investors, and she couldn't finish the sentence. 23 employees now, Michael said helpfully. Emma just hired a VP of sales from Salesforce. Real coup. The team culture she's built is impressive. Low turnover, high engagement. She's a natural leader. Nina added. I visited their office in Soma last week. Beautiful space. They have a whole wall of awards. Emma gave a TED Talk last month about women in tech. You gave a TED Talk. My aunt's voice was faint. A TEDx talk, I corrected. In Boston. It was about scaling startup culture while maintaining values. Tyler sat down heavily on the couch. When I asked you at Christmas if you were making any money yet, we just closed our Series A, I said. 8 million. I didn't bring it up because you were talking about your promotion. 8 million, he repeated. That was a great round, Michael said. Very competitive. 5 firms wanted in. Emma played them against each other beautifully. He turned to my uncle. Your niece is one of the sharpest founders I've worked with. And I've worked with some of the biggest names in tech. My uncle was looking at me like he was recalculating everything. But you dropped out of your PhD program. To start DataStream. The PhD was in computer science at MIT. I left ABD all but dissertation because we were getting real traction with early customers. It was the right call. My advisor understood. She actually became one of our first angel investors. My mom sat down next to Tyler. Honey, why didn't you tell us any of this? I tried. Remember Thanksgiving? I mentioned signing an enterprise client. Tyler said everyone has to start somewhere. Tyler winced. And at Easter, when you asked if I was making money yet we'd just crossed 5 million in ARR. Annual recurring revenue. I added, seeing their confused faces. That means customers pay us $5 million a year for our software. 5 million, my dad said slowly. 10 million now. We doubled it in 6 months. Michael nodded approvingly. Incredible execution. Truly. The team's hitting every milestone. We're already talking to Series C investors. Emma's being very strategic about timing. Nina had gravitated toward me. How's the Deloitte partnership going? Really well. They're piloting with 3 of their clients right now. If it goes well, they want to white label our technology for their entire consulting practice. That's huge. Congratulations. Wait, Tyler said. You're selling to Deloitte? Like, the Deloitte? We partnered with them, I corrected. They're not just a client, it's a strategic partnership. They'll help us scale to their client base. Michael checked his watch. Speaking of which, Emma, I know this is a family party, but do you have 5 minutes later? I wanted to get your thoughts on the term sheet from Sequoia. They're pushing for a meeting next week. Sequoia? Tyler's voice was barely a whisper. The Sequoia? Sequoia Capital, Michael confirmed. One of the most prestigious VC firms in Silicon Valley. They backed Google, Apple, LinkedIn. They're very interested in DataStream, but Emma's been hesitant about their terms. I shrugged. Their valuation was good, but they wanted board control. I'm not ready to give that up. Smart, Nina said. Don't let them bully you. You're in the driver's seat. My aunt was gripping the back of a chair. Emma. Sweetheart. I don't understand. You drive a Honda Civic. You live in that small apartment in the Mission. You always said you were just getting by. I said the startup was in growth mode. Which it is. I reinvest everything back into the company. The Honda's reliable. The apartment's close to the office. I spend 16 hours a day at work anyway. Typical founder behavior, Michael said with approval. Emma's not in this for the lifestyle. She's building something that matters. That's exactly the kind of founder we look for. Tyler stood up abruptly. I need some air. He walked out onto the patio. Through the sliding glass door, I could see him pacing. My mom touched my arm. Emma, I need to apologize. We've been treating you like you were just playing around. I finished gently. It's okay, Mom. The tech industry is confusing from the outside. And I didn't make it easy to understand. But $15 million. A board. Partnerships with Deloitte. Why didn't you make us understand? I chose my words carefully. I tried to share what I was doing. But every time I brought it up, the conversation moved to Tyler's career or questions about when I was getting married or concerns about my real job. After a while, it was easier to just let you think what you wanted to think. My dad's face was pained. I asked you last month if you were still doing that tech thing. You did. And you just said yes. I am still doing the tech thing. I'll probably be doing it for the next 10 years at least. Michael interjected. If Emma takes DataStream where we think she can, she's looking at a potential exit in the 9-figure range. Possibly 10 figures if everything aligns right. She's building a generational company. The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, my aunt said, 9 figures. That's over $100 million. Potentially, Michael said. It's ambitious, but DataStream has the trajectory. The market size is enormous. If Emma executes her vision and she's been flawless so far, we're looking at $1 billion company. With a B, Nina added helpfully. My mom was crying. Actual tears. Emma, I'm so sorry. We've been so dismissive of you. So condescending. I kept asking when you were going to settle down and get serious, and you were building $1 billion company. Potentially $1 billion. I corrected. We're not there yet. But you could be. That's the goal. My uncle sat down heavily. Tyler's going to need a minute. I understand, I said. This is a lot. He didn't know any of this. No one in the family did. I wasn't hiding it exactly. I just stopped trying to explain it after a while. Michael looked uncomfortable. I should mention Tyler's been calling me a lot over the past month. He's trying to upsell our real estate portfolio on premium advertising packages. That's his job, I said quickly. He's good at it. He is. He's persistent, professional. But he's also been. Michael hesitated. He name drops that we're connected. As my client Michael Rodriguez would say, type of thing. Uses our relationship to try to build credibility with other prospects. I've heard him do it. My uncle's jaw tightened. He told you that. His manager mentioned it in a feedback call last week. They were concerned it might be misrepresenting the nature of our relationship. Tyler's a vendor, not a partner. We have a transactional relationship. He keeps pushing to make it seem more strategic than it is. I closed my eyes. This was getting worse. Michael continued. I was planning to have a conversation with him about boundaries. But now, knowing he's your cousin. He trailed off. Tyler chose that moment to come back inside. His eyes were red. I need to apologize. Tyler, I started. No, let me say this. He looked around the room. I've been a complete jerk to Emma. For years. I dismissed her startup as a hobby. I acted like my corporate job made me more successful than her. I patronized her constantly. Tyler, you didn't know. That's not an excuse, Emma. You tried to tell us what you were doing. I remember at Christmas you mentioned raising money. I literally laughed. I said something about how everyone with an app thinks they're going to be the next big thing. Do you remember that? I did. It had stung. I'm sorry, he said. I'm genuinely, deeply sorry. I was threatened by you. You've always been smarter than me. More driven. More creative. And instead of being proud of my cousin, I minimized your accomplishments to make myself feel better. The room was silent. And now, Tyler continued, his voice breaking slightly. I find out that my biggest client is your investor. That the relationship I've been bragging about is because he's on your board. That I've been name-dropping a connection to you to try to impress other clients. Michael spoke up. Tyler, you didn't know, but I should have listened to her. She tried to tell us. We just didn't want to hear it. He looked at me. You're not just successful, Emma. You're wildly successful, and I've been treating you like you're failing. I didn't know what to say. My dad cleared his throat. We all owe Emma an apology. We've been so focused on conventional markers of success, corporate jobs, marriage, traditional paths that we couldn't see what she was actually building. I asked you if you were making enough to support yourself. My mom added, tears streaming down her face. You've raised $23 million. You have partnerships with Fortune 500 companies. And I was worried you couldn't pay your rent. The rent is actually pretty high in the Mission, I admitted. San Francisco real estate is brutal. It was the wrong thing to say. Everyone started laughing, that slightly hysterical laughter that happens when tension breaks. Nina caught my eye and smiled. She mouthed, "You okay?" I nodded. My aunt finally spoke. "Emma, I need to ask. Why did you come tonight? After everything we've said, every dismissive comment, every time we've treated you like you were less than, why did you keep showing up?" I thought about it. Because you're my family. And I figured eventually, you'd see what I was doing. I just didn't expect it to happen quite like this. Tyler laughed bitterly. With me accidentally inviting your lead investor to Mom's birthday party. It is pretty funny, I admitted. It's mortifying. Michael stepped in. Tyler, for what it's worth, you're good at your job. The real estate portfolio management you've done for us has been solid. Professional. Emma's success doesn't diminish that. But I don't work with billion-dollar founders, Tyler said. I sell advertising packages to small businesses. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's call it what it is. There's dignity in all work, I said. You provide value to your clients. You're building a career. That matters. You're being generous. I'm being honest. Not everyone wants to be a founder. It's brutal, Tyler. I work 80-hour weeks. I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. I lie awake at night, worried about making payroll, about competitors, about market shifts. You have work-life balance. You have a fiancé you actually see. That's worth something. Michael nodded. Emma's right. Startup life isn't for everyone. The failure rate is astronomical. Most founders don't make it. Emma's success is partly skill, partly timing, partly luck. She's worked incredibly hard, but she's also been in the right place at the right time. Still, Tyler said quietly, I should have supported you instead of competing with you. You can start now, I suggested. We ended up staying for 3 hours. My aunt's birthday dinner turned into an impromptu celebration of DataStream. Michael and Nina told embarrassing stories about my pitch meetings. My parents asked a million questions about the company, the technology, the vision. Tyler gradually relaxed, even started asking intelligent questions about the venture capital process. Around 10, Michael and Nina said their goodbyes. At the door, Michael pulled me aside. That was intense. You handled it well. Thanks for backing me up, always. And Emma? Don't wait so long next time. Your family should know what you're building. They should get to be proud of you. After they left, I found Tyler on the patio. He was nursing a beer, staring at the stars. Hey, I said, sitting next to him. Hey. We sat in silence for a minute. I really am sorry, he said finally. I don't know how to make up for years of being a dismissive jerk. Just be better going forward. That's all I want. Can I ask you something? When I was going on and on at Christmas about my promotion, and you just smiled and nodded, were you angry? Not angry. Sad? Maybe. I wanted to share what I was doing, but it felt like no one wanted to hear it. We were idiots. You were scared, I corrected. Of me being different. Of not understanding my path. Of me maybe failing. It's easier to dismiss something than to engage with it. Tyler took a long drink. Are you really going to be a billionaire? Maybe. Probably not. The odds are against most startups. But we're going to try. What does it feel like? Building something like that? I thought about it. Terrifying. Exhilarating. Lonely sometimes. But mostly purposeful. I wake up every day knowing exactly what I'm working toward. How many people get to say that? Not many. You could, though. If you wanted. You're smart, Tyler. You're driven. If you decided to start something, you'd probably be good at it. He laughed. I don't have your tolerance for risk. That's fair. Neither do most people. We sat there for a while longer, two cousins who'd spent years competing instead of connecting, finally just being quiet together. Inside, through the sliding glass door, I could see my parents talking with my aunt and uncle. They kept looking out at me with expressions I'd never seen before. Not worry, not condescension. Pride. My phone buzzed. Jenna, my co-founder. Board meeting prep for Monday? I typed back, yes. Also, you'll never believe what happened tonight. Good or bad? Both. Mostly good. Tyler stood up. I should let you go. I'm sure you have work stuff. Always. Emma? Thank you. For not rubbing this in my face. You could have destroyed me tonight. You're my cousin. Why would I want to destroy you? He smiled a real smile this time. Because I would have. If the situations were reversed, I would have made sure everyone knew how much more successful I was. I know. So why didn't you? I thought about all the dinners, all the holidays, all the casual dismissals and condescending comments. I thought about my teenage self, told that computer science was ambitious for a girl. I thought about dropping out of MIT, and everyone asking if I was sure I wanted to throw away my education. Because proving people wrong isn't the same as being right, I said. I built DataStream to solve a real problem, to create something meaningful, not to prove anything to anyone, not even to us. Especially not to you. I love you guys. I just needed you to see me. We see you now, Tyler said quietly. Finally, I drove home that night through empty San Francisco streets, past the office where my team would be back Monday morning, past the billboards advertising products from companies we were competing with, past the whole ecosystem of ambition and innovation that had become my world. My phone rang. It was my mom. Hi, honey. I know it's late, but I just wanted to say again how proud I am, and how sorry I am that we didn't understand sooner. It's okay, Mom. It's not. But it will be. Are you free for lunch next week? I want to hear everything. About the company. About your team. About your plans. Everything I should have been asking about for the past 3 years. I'd like that. And Emma? Your father wants to know if he can tell his friends. About DataStream. About what you're building. I smiled. Yeah, Mom. He can tell them. He's very proud. We both are. After we hung up, I sat in my car for a moment. My apartment was just up the block. Small, yes. Modest, definitely. But it was mine. Bought with my first decent paycheck from DataStream, after years of ramen and sleeping on couches and maxing out credit cards to keep the company alive. Tomorrow I'd be back at it. Board meeting prep. The Deloitte partnership. Decisions about Series C. Hiring for 3 open positions. The endless, exhilarating grind of building something from nothing. But tonight, for the first time in a long time, my family knew who I really was. And that felt like winning.